In sharp contrast to the villages of the Andes is the neat and tidy city of Bern, capital of Switzerland.
As a child and a teenager, I grew up in Switzerland.
DeSoto's father had been exiled from Peru following a government coup. It was here Hernando and his brother came of age.
My father wanted to make sure that we never forgot Peru and Latin America. So my brother and I were sent back to Peru every year or so. It was called the Peruvianization of the boys. But it was only much later on, 17 years old, 18 years old, that I began realizing that it wasn't just that buildings were painted in different colors, but that Peru was actually a much poorer country than Switzerland.
But in the 1800s, Switzerland was one of the poorest countries in Western Europe, with few natural resources and an agrarian economy. Just 100 years later, Switzerland had become one of the richest.
And it struck me because I never found that there was any cultural, intellectual difference between my cousins back home in Peru and my friends here in Switzerland. And now I started wondering, well, what makes prosperity if it isn't good people? Something invisible was missing, and I had to find out what it was.
DeSoto's quest started with Swiss history. In the late 19th century, Switzerland was a loose federation of independent regions, each with their own codes and laws.
The only way you can bring a diverse people together is by creating bridges between the different codes, the different practices, so that the whole nation could follow one rule of law and have one legal system with which to contract and create prosperity.
What the Swiss lacked, DeSoto discovered, was a way to integrate the French, German, and Italian systems into one Swiss system. They needed a legal bridge between old and new.
For a legal bridge to serve its purpose, to actually link people from all sides, it has to first of all be anchored in the customs and the practices of real people. It's got to have solid foundations. It needs to be sufficiently well articulated so that it's not going to crack with all the problems that come with time. And thirdly, it's got to be wide enough so that everybody can cross it. It can't just be for a few people.
Peru languished for the next 100 years, but in Switzerland, one man would develop a legal code that would propel it into the future, a future that included everyone.